when we have testimony at Lansing, I like to have it, how can I say this? I like to churn up things a little bit. I like to have people come in and testify. And I like to have the people they're testifying against there at the same time. And what I like to have is the bantering back and forth and then us asking questions. I actually do that and most people don't. So expect that. If you come and testify, there'll probably be somebody from Child Protective Services there or from whatever agency, because we'll let them know that you're going to testify. And then they will come up and probably say something, and what I do is then give you the right to come back on. You'll probably be sitting right there to say, no, that's not true, here's what happened. So I try to get, somewhere, there's one side always seems right till you hear the other side, you know what I'm saying? So I like to get both sides of the story. And then my goal is to try to tighten things up in Child Protective Services, obviously. I've heard a lot of complaints. I had some friends of my own. I'll give you my story. I got several, but it's a good friend of mine who was eating in Allegan, and his little 2 or 3-year-old kid started throwing forks and food, took him out in the car, spanked him. Waitress saw that, didn't think that was right, went back in, ate. As he's getting ready to leave, the cops were there. And they said, we understand you were abusing your kid. He said, what do you mean? I spanked my kid for throwing the food. And he spent a night in jail and 2 weeks away from his family. And when they came in and checked his house, they said, well, you have guns. Well, I guess they come into my house, I'm in trouble because I got lots of guns. And he is scared to death to this day of our own government because he was spent a night in jail. And then they brought their kid to a doctor, his doctor. There was not a bruise on him. And even if there was, we were talking about that just a minute ago. What's the definition of abuse? I want that defined. It has to be defined in law because, like my daughter, I asked the question just 2 weeks ago in DHS. I says, okay, let me ask you this. My daughter gets the wooden spoon out. The kid gets out of hand, goes to spank him, he twists, instead of hitting his butt, hits him right in the side, and there's a welt there. There's a red welt. He goes to school and tells the teacher, look what my mom did. Is she in trouble? Oh yeah, she's in trouble. I said, that's amazing. I'd be in trouble, my dad would be in trouble, everybody I know would be in trouble. So I said, this has got to change. I mean, there's got to be some definitions of what abuse is and what isn't. Because if it's just left up to somebody's opinion what it is, just like my friend who's thrown in jail overnight, we have a problem. And I think that's what's happened. We got some CPS workers that are overzealous, and they think the definition of abuse is a spanking. Quite frankly, I wouldn't be standing here today if I didn't get a few of those. And I think I got my first flying lesson on the end of my dad's foot between the kitchen. So I understand where it's going. I don't like where it's going. And another thing, my vice chair on DHS, he had a similar case where, yes, he was divorced from his wife, but then the kid figured out, you can't touch me. If you touch me, I can go to school. So she did. Right. Now the state's got a huge problem because couldn't touch the kid, couldn't correct the kid. Now the kid's a juvenile delinquent. So I lost my daughter because I couldn't correct my kid. Now, I shouldn't probably say what I'm about to say now, but I always told my kids, if you ever tell your teacher or whatever that I spanked you or whatever, I hurt you and I'm in trouble, I'm going to be in a newspaper that night if they come and try to take you away, and then I'm going to wail on you all over again. So they pretty much knew that they weren't going to get away with that. So I appreciate your time, but I got to run.